Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about some updates from Red Bull ahead of the Canadian Grand Prix weekend. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Formula 1 content. Also make sure to follow me on X at James's Pit Lane, I'll leave a link in the description, but let's jump straight into the video. Now, as we know, Red Bull do not have the fastest car in 2025. They have won a couple of Grand Prix with Max Verstappen, but the car is not as fast and not as consistent as the McLaren. And while Verstappen has been keeping McLaren on their toes, any issue for Red Bull and Verstappen can be very costly for them in the championship. I mean, look at the Spanish Grand Prix, for example. I mean, going into the weekend, the deficit between Verstappen and championship leader Oscar Piastri was 25 points, and that's the equivalent to a race win. And while Verstappen was very fast in the Grand Prix and was putting McLaren under a lot of pressure, a late safety car cost him because everyone came into pit and Verstappen went on to hard tyres while those around him went on to the grippier soft tyres. And on top of that, we saw Verstappen hit the side of George Russell, and that gave him a 10-second time penalty, and at the end of the race that demoted Verstappen down to 10th place, meaning he just picked up 1 point from the Grand Prix. And that means Verstappen is now 49 points adrift of championship leader Piastri. And there are times where the Red Bull car is just not good enough and Verstappen cannot do anything. I mean, look at Bahrain. The balance was just all over the place and Verstappen could get it nowhere near the podium. And Red Bull advisor Helmut Marco has highlighted a lack of consistency in Red Bull's package. He wrote in his Speed Week column, as quoted by Racing News 365, "To win the Drivers' Championship, we need a car that's competitive on all tracks, not just on specific circuits. That's not enough for the World Championship. Against the currently strong McLaren, you only have a chance if everything goes perfectly. We have the perfect driver, but all the factors have to be right. The pit stops, the strategy, the car, the tyre wear. You have to get the car in the right working window and the tyres to the right temperature. Maybe it's just a small adjustment that needs to be made. We often start very poorly in practice on Friday and manage to improve the car by qualifying, sometimes making it capable of a podium finish or even a win. However, we lack the consistency that McLaren demonstrates." Now, we have seen Red Bull introduce upgrades to the car this season, and Marco has insisted that Red Bull is working tirelessly to correct problems, but he also explained that any further improvements to the car will be minor tweaks and less significant. Marco went on to say, "We're working tirelessly on this and will continue to make small adjustments, but nothing major is planned. We've had some major updates in the past, such as a new underbody and new side pods, but now it's more about the details. We'll continue developing as long as there's a chance in the World Championship. After that, the focus will move entirely to the 2026 project." So based on that, it looks like Red Bull now are just focusing on the small details on improving that car instead of bringing anything big to the car, which I think really is what Red Bull needs. And I think without some sort of major upgrade, it's going to make the season even more challenging for Red Bull than it already is. And while I think Verstappen will be able to keep McLaren on their toes at multiple Grand Prix throughout this season, I do think there's going to come a point where it's no longer realistic that Verstappen can win the championship. So yeah, it's bad news for Verstappen that it looks like nothing major is going on to that Red Bull car anytime soon. But on top of that, Verstappen is closing in on a race ban. I mean, following that incident with George Russell, as I said, Verstappen was given a 10-second time penalty, but he was also given 3 penalty points on his licence, which takes him to a total of 11. And if you get 12 in a 12-month period, you're going to get a race ban. Some points will come off after the Austrian Grand Prix, which is in 2 Grand Prix time. So until then, Verstappen has to keep it clean and avoid any penalty point. But if Verstappen does pick up a penalty point and gets a ban at either the Canadian or Austrian Grand Prix, who would replace him? Well, Racing News 365 say that Red Bull will promote either Isaac Hadjar or Liam Lawson from the Red Bull Junior team in the event Verstappen does get a 1-round suspension. And the publication also say that current reserve driver Ayumu Iwasa will debutise for Racing Bulls in that scenario. Now, this comes after Sky Sports reported that an application from Red Bull for 17-year-old David Lindblad to gain special dispensation for an F1 super licence early is set to be discussed next week. Now, drivers cannot normally get a super licence until they're 18, provided they've also earned sufficient points to qualify from results in other Formula categories. But an amendment to the rules last year stated that a super licence may be granted at the age of 17 years old in exceptional circumstances, such as the driver demonstrating outstanding ability. But even if Limvad does get special dispensation based on the report from Racing News 365, it does not look like Limvad would make his F1 debut in the event that Verstappen were to get a one-race ban. And in the event that Verstappen does get a one-round suspension, I do think they'll end up promoting Hadjar to the Red Bull car. I think he's driven really well in the Red Bull Junior team, and as a result I do think he would be called upon. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care. Bye.